But I've seen maybe a half dozen like that, and one from a company.
Yeah.
Okay, next we got, I'm not going to get too deeply into this because I've been carrying this in the International Forecaster, and this bloody thing is 7 pages long. And what it pertains to is a lawsuit by Jane Burgermeister, who recently filed criminal charges with the FBI against the World Health Organization, the UN, and several of the highest-ranking government and corporate officials concerning bioterrorism and attempts to commit mass murder. And that is the swine flu phony pandemic, and the fact that this whole thing is being conjured up to make pharmaceutical companies rich, in spite of the fact that Baxter made a batch of this crap about 6 months ago, knew it was bad, and allowed it to go to the marketplace. Fortunately, it was caught before it was injected into anybody. I understand. I was on with Raylene today on the rumor mill this morning, and she told me she's going to have Jane Burgermeister on her program. Doesn't know when yet. But she said that Jane was fired from a job the minute she filed a lawsuit. And that's so typical. Like we talk about economists, analysts, journalists, law enforcement people, attorneys, corporate people. You step out of line, you're out of a job. Just terrible. And so I have all this information in the last couple of email versions of the IF. So Mariana, who sent this in, all you have to do is look there, and we've already covered it. But the point is that this is a genetically engineered flu pandemic crisis, and these shots aren't going to do you any good. The whole thing is a scam. So what do you get for us today?
Are you done with your questions already?
Yeah, there was 3 of them. One of them was 7 pages long. I was going to read the whole thing. But, you know, I essentially told you what it was about. And the swine flu is another scam. The big shareholders are the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all of the foundations. They own those pharmaceutical companies. They are the major shareholders. And that's why this is being done.
Also, you know what? I don't know if there'd be any connection or not, but with the it all comes to connection too, I believe, with passing this nationalized health care. I mean, the two go hand in hand, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's another cog in that wheel of universal or national health care. And all I can tell you is that they passed that in cap and trade. Your PACs is going up 40% a year. 40%. So if you're in the 25 bracket now, you're going to be 65% plus state tax, plus Social Security, the real estate tax, local sales tax. You're in for 80%, kids. That's what they got for you. And there is no global warming. It's just a bunch of crap. And, of course, they've created this cap-and-trade market so that Goldman Sachs can make gazillions of dollars screwing everybody. I mean, that's the world we live in. I mean, it's that bad. And I'm one of the few voices out there who calls it the way it is. There's not many who got the guts to do it.
I think if Bill Clinton said anything in the 90s, I believe it was his statement. He said in the near future people will be paying, was it 85% of their wages to taxes.
Mm-hmm.
He's right about that.
Except for the Clintons who have their money offshore.
Yeah. Yeah. My question to you is that deployment order revoked for the soldier challenging Obama's birthplace.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think that's going to take us?
Well, I think it's going to be used by a lot of military people to avoid going to Afghanistan, and it's going to become a torrent. And I don't know where it could lead. I know they don't want to lose him because, he's an actor and a zombie, and he, without the teleprompter, he wanders around in darkness. And, we have 2 subscribers who went to high school, actually, junior high and high school with him in Hawaii, who I've talked to. And they said he was not one of the light bulbs of the class, that's for sure. But anyway, what could happen? They might be forced to have him resign. I don't know. It all depends on how big the heat gets. I mean, every day that goes by, government loses credibility because the story keeps on getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And the information from Occidental College in Los Angeles stating that they gave him a Fulbright scholarship under the name of Barry Sototo because he was a foreign student, that tells me that maybe he's not a U.S. citizen. And of course he isn't. And he also went to Pakistan at a time when Americans were banned from going there, which means if he went there, then he had a foreign passport, probably a British passport, which you would get if you were born in Kenya. So, or maybe he had a Kenyan passport, I don't know. But the point is that U.S. citizens were banned from going there at that time. It was sometime, I guess, in the 1970s.
I mean, you would think that any soldier, would automatically put in and request the same thing. I mean,
well, it all depends. That's a volunteer force, and some of these people, really like killing people.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have that hardcore. I see yesterday a bunch of contractors get killed over there, which means they were mercenaries.
If it is found that he is not a citizen and blah, blah, who replaces him?
Vice President.
Because someone was telling me yesterday that they had done some research and that it wouldn't be the vice president because it would be the whole party or something like that would be, that it goes a lot deeper than just Biden taking over for Obama.
No, I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know either. That's why I was wondering if you had known.
No, I have nothing concrete. Okay. What you're saying conceptually is that the whole election was no good.
Right.
I don't know how it works. I don't think we're ever going to find out. I don't think they're going to do anything.
Probably not.
I mean, the country is so corrupt. It just burns me up when they say, well, Honduras and Chile and Mexico and Kazakhstan and so on are so terribly corrupt. Well, the worst criminals in the world are in America, on the streets as well as on Wall Street. I mean, these people steal billions of dollars.
Here's a question from David. Is the CFTC considering applying limits on gold and silver contracts?
No, but they are considering looking at the short positions. And I have a letter in today's IF that was written by, or a statement that was written by Mr. Chilton, who was on that CFTC board. And you'll be able to see that as a subscriber in today's Forecaster. And he talks about looking at the position limits and stuff like that. So that's what they're really interested in looking into, or not. We'll find out. Gensler is a product of Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, and he worked on the strong dollar during the 90s, and he also worked on the gold suppression. So I'm not expecting too much out of it.
What is happening, if anything, in the Goldman Sachs code theft? Scott doesn't see anything in the headlines about it. Is there any talk about its implications on any mainstream news like CNBC?
Well, CNBC's not going to cover it, neither is anybody else who's in the mainline media, because it's all controlled by the Illuminati. And Goldman Sachs is a big Illuminist firm. And so you're not going to see anything anywhere. Everything is going to come via the Internet and people like myself. And we'll get to the bottom of it. I think they made a big mistake. I don't think this guy was stealing anything. And I think that they thought he was, or they were mad at him for leaving, and wanted to make his life miserable, and they're connected enough to do that. And I think you're going to find that they should have never said what they said, and that was, in the wrong hands, this software can be used to manipulate the market.